Welcome to the Mounting Block. I'm Oriel.
And I'm Marissa.
We're here to inspire each other and, of course, you, our listeners, as we navigate the wild ride of rediscovering our love for horses while juggling work, kids, businesses, and a million other things.
From tackling fears to finding time in between school drop-offs, spilt snacks, business meetings, and marriage, we're here to share the laughs, the lessons, and the occasional mishap in the saddle.
So grab a coffee, a wine, maybe even a lead rope if you're game, and join us for honest, uninterrupted conversations, a bit of mum life mayhem, and a whole lot of encouragement.
This is a Mounting Block. Let's get a leg over and join us for the ride. Hello, Oriel.
Hello.
We have wine today.
We do.
We have wine.
We have wine.
For this podcast
This
recording.
is the first time we've had wine.
It is.
And
honestly,
we're not only having a little bit of wine, it's just because we already drank some of it. It's not because we're...
Yeah, because we need to get through some... Needs to work through some emotions today on the podcast.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Work through. It's been a lot. Where do we start?
What a day. Let's start at the beginning.
Floating.
Floating. Floating. Yep.
Floating.
So you may remember last week we bought a float and we were waiting for it to arrive. And it arrived. And we got the fabulous Will Shaw from Equine on the Move to come and help us because I'd only ever floated...
Nothing.
A light.
Yes.
A light.
Not an animal.
Not an animal, and it wasn't a float. It was a tiny light dragging behind the car. That's the only thing I've ever towed.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think I've ever towed anything that I can remember.
Yeah, let
in my
alone
adult life.
600 kilo and a 450 kilo.
Plus a 1,360 tear weight of a float, which we know intimately the details of that.
Yep.
Yes.
So Will took us for a bit of a drive. We went for a drive. That was quite scary.
Empty.
Yeah, quite scary, but it was okay.
Yeah.
And then we loaded the horses up, and then Will took us for another drive with the horses on, and that was terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
It's heavy. It's really heavy. You have to know when to brake.
Yeah.
Take wide corners. Like there's just so much to think about.
Because the float's wider than the car as well.
Yep.
So we've got clearance when it comes to like ditches.
Yep.
And curbs.
Yep. Yep. And cutting corners and all of that sort of thing. It was really scary.
Do you think we'll get better? Do you think it'll get better?
I hope so.
I hope so too.
I'm not sure we can get worse. I have had now twice a bit of a traffic jam behind me.
Well, yeah, I don't think we're bad at the driving part. I think we're actually doing that really well. Like we're good drivers.
That's kind.
I think don't you think like the actual driving part is actually almost the easier part of it, except for people trying to overtake. But it's the clipping it on properly. It's making sure all the bolts and things are done.
Yeah.
It's almost like we need like a number system to go like start 1 to 10 to
this
check.
is what to do.
And then it's the loading them.
The loading and getting them done up, making sure that lead rope's in the right place.
Yeah, it's all of that. And then us getting out quick enough to be able to put the divider in and just making sure they're secure.
Yeah.
Then closing it up. And then by the time we've done that and we're getting in the car, we're like, oh, okay.
And for all of those experienced horsey people out there, we're still newbies at this, at all of this.
Yeah.
You know, even loading my horse, and Laney doesn't love floating. So, I just...
It's deep breaths and it's calm. We just have to, channel our inner Will who is so calm.
Oh, yeah, he's amazing.
And not be in a rush.
Yeah.
And just, but we did it.
We did it.
I drove there.
You
drove home today.
Yep. Yep. But then, so that was that time with Will. But then today... We did it by ourselves without Will, and Will, we don't know why we bought a float. We don't know why we said,
Will, we want you back.
We want you back.
Horse Uber,
so we might
Uber.
sell our float. No, we're kidding. We're not going to do that, but we want you back.
Yeah. Nothing happened.
No,
it was
fine.
completely smooth sailing.
But we went and got our horses. We saddled up.
Yeah.
Put them in the float. Well, we've put the float in the car. Your husband did that last night.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you, Jay. We got them in the float. We floated to where we have our lessons.
Yeah.
And then we went before we go for a ride,
a regular lesson,
we'll do a trail with my wonderful sister.
Let's do a trail
because that's not scary at all.
And particularly this trail where it starts by a really steep hill, straight down. And that is just scary to ride down. Yeah. It's just scary to ride down. It is. And it was equally scary coming back up.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
And then, so it's scary when you're going down, but we got down okay, fine. And then we're sort of, it's a river walk. So there's quite sharp edge drop-offs. And so if something goes askew, you're don't
very
want
close to the edge.
Yeah, you don't want to go down the edge.
Yeah.
So that's on your mind. So you've got your leg on the whole time, pushing them away. Well, I do.
Yeah.
Don't go near the edge.
Yeah.
And then there's a big open area, which is actually quite nice.
Yep. Which we used to ride. We used like a mini arena for a little bit.
Yeah,
yep.
That was good. It's a couple of steep hills up and down.
Yeah.
And I copped a few
little pig roots.
Pig roots in the canter.
Yes.
Going up a hill.
Yes.
One of them nearly unseated me. I nearly landed over her head.
I think I owe you an apology.
You don't,
because my horse's head might have been up yours butt. And I think she was saying,
Get away
from me.
Yeah, but she could have done that with one leg.
Yeah.
She didn't have to do 2 legs. So that was scary because that's the first time I've had a buck on her at all.
Yeah.
And then it happened again.
Yep. Yep.
So
that wasn't my fault.
No, that was not your fault. I don't even think the first one was your fault. I think she was feeling fresh and frisky.
Like, hello.
Yeah. But you also copped one. So the big hill that we spoke about going down, we both copped pig roots on the way up.
On the way up.
In canter.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Not fun. Not fun.
Not fun.
Not fun for us. Someone might think that's fun out there in the world.
Yes.
That's why we're drinking the wine.
That's why we're drinking the wine. Well, no, it's not just because of that, because then we went and we were riding probably for about an hour and a half, maybe close to 2 hours. But actually, it would have been closer to 2 hours by the time we got back to where we do our lessons. And then we had half an hour before our lessons.
Oh, no, we haven't spoken about the main road ride.
Oh, yes, that's right.
So then we get to the end of the trail and your sister says, come down to the other house where she's putting the horse back, and we had to ride on a main road and I burst into tears.
You did.
I burst into tears.
But we should give the background to that. When you were younger.
Yes.
You had a bad fall.
I had 2 incidents on roads. I had a bad fall on one where my horse bolted and I landed headfirst. Granted, I was bareback on him. Yeah. So that could be excused. And it was a skateboarder that spooked him.
Yeah.
So again, it wasn't the horse's fault. We never blame the horse.
Yeah.
And then the second one, and I was knocked out in that fall. Yeah. And the second one was a bolt with my half thoroughbred that I had at the time, also on a main road. So there is probably they were my 2 worst incidents as a younger kid.
And then you're going onto a road which sometimes has no traffic at all, but at other times has lots of traffic on it. So single lane either way. But sometimes has a lot of traffic going through it. And big trucks and that kind of stuff, and other times doesn't have any traffic at all.
And I'd probably worked myself up because I was thinking about going to sleep last night, and I was like, I don't want to go on that road. Yeah. I don't want to go on the road.
And we did. We went on the road.
Bloody did.
We did. Thank you, Mimi.
Yes. But you know what? She was so right, when I was crying. So I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. She did say the fact that you are this worked up about it means you probably should do it. Yeah. And I so agree with that. Like, it would be something I would tell my kids to, let's push through.
Push through.
And I did. And it was fun and it wasn't scary.
Yeah. And Michelle had also talked us through, the nerves. And it's interesting. We've talked about Michelle on the podcast before and how she's everything that she is, which is absolutely amazing. And she is actually also a qualified coach.
She's incredible.
Yeah, she's incredible. And she was very much trying to get us to get out of our own heads. And we'd both, again, for those horsey people out there, we both yesterday gone, okay, this is terrifying, what we're going to try and do tomorrow. And so we both said to each other, well, we were already starting to feel nerves. And she said, maybe don't sort of encourage each other that way. Like, talk about the nerves, but then put it to bed and move on. And
yeah, absolutely. And it's so true. Whether we're going to follow that advice, Michelle, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I feel like our friendship is built literally on being completely vulnerable and honest and being able to cry at each other. So, but I do get what she was saying. Like, if we're working each other up, then we just have to go, okay, we've got this though. Like, we are going to be okay. Yeah. And we were fine. And she took through, she was coaching us literally the entire trail, wasn't she? Yeah, she was. Yeah. And it was excellent. And we were very brave. I mean, other people would probably think we're not brave at all. But we
can see that.
Yeah. We
felt brave.
We feel brave-ish. I felt brave-ish. And then we overcame a lot of obstacles and a lot of things that scared us.
And then when we did go into the lesson, you decided
I cried again.
You decided you were not going to canter in this lesson.
Yeah.
And within about 10 minutes of getting in the arena, I turn around and you're cantering around.
Yeah. That's so true. I actually just cried to our coach and just said, I've lost some mojo, I've lost some confidence. I'm feeling really scared. I'm sorry for crying. She's like, I have seen a lot of tears.
It all, yeah.
Yeah, particularly in this sport. Yes, that is true. And she was fabulous and really worked me up slowly, actually. And although, yes, I cantered quite early in the lesson, I felt ready to.
Yeah.
And she said, let's see if we get a pig root and if there's that behaviour, and there wasn't. And, of course, Hecate was a perfect angel.
Yeah.
Just like the emotional blackmailer that she is.
Yeah. Yeah, because you look crazy now.
Now I look like the
You
mental
look
person.
unstable.
And she looks like a perfect horse. Yeah, and I'm like, of course.
It's all in your head. That's what she's saying. It's all in your head.
Oh, my gosh.
But no, I saw it.
Yes, you saw it.
It's not all in her
head. And then you and Lainey, he was so exhausted, but gosh, he is just a beautiful workhorse. He just did it. He just did it. He's just so willing and giving. And by the end of it, he was sweating and he had a beautiful bath.
Yeah.
But that's what you want. You want them to work. You want them to have that beautiful sweat that they've worked and move their muscles.
And you can tell, that when you were working on that ground part that we were talking about on the trail with Michelle, and I went forward and did some work of my own, and he doesn't love being on his own. So that was a bit, I thought that was going to be challenging. And initially it was. And I was like, no, you need to focus on me. And he did. So, we had some, it was terrifying, but we had some wins.
Yeah, we had some wins. Well, we'll pop some video or some photos or videos up on our journey today. But it just reinforces today
that it is
the emotional roller coaster that this is. I think I've been coasting a little bit easy street with it all for too long, and I needed probably a smack in the face of.
Oh, did you?
I
don't know about that.
Did I need it?
No. But we need the wine.
We need the wine.
We don't need the smack in the face.
I didn't need the smack. I didn't need the pig root tea. No. Can do without that. But also just it's probably just taken a big hit to my confidence, and I'll be completely honest, it scared me.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of where you were about 6 months ago.
Yep.
I'm using Oriel as my inspiration because she's moved through it and managed through it really well. So I won't give up. It's just probably what you said is just paring back and just doing things at my own speed for a little bit.
Yeah.
And
not doing the things that scare you, and that's obviously
it's sort of everything
scares us.
So we wouldn't get on the horse at all if that was the case with me. But will I be flying over 70 centimeter jumps? No. But so that's where we're at, and that's it's been big.
Yep, it has been.
Yeah,
it has been. But onwards and upwards, and
yes, we'll be okay. We'll just keep riding through
it. Yeah, we will stay on the horse. On the horse. So with that, we have another fabulous guest to talk to. So we should just get to that.
Let's introduce our guest.
So it's so good to see you, Les. Thanks so much for chatting to us today.
Thanks for having me.
And you're coming.
I'm glad we finally get to do this.
Yeah, well, it's been some time coming, hasn't it? I mean, we've started talking back in December, but you're coming to us from Vietnam today. What are you doing over there?
What am I doing right now? Taking care of the home, working on my business while the spouse and the child are off at school.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And what took you to Vietnam? Because your business is. Do you want to tell us about that first before we answer the Vietnam question?
Yeah.
Oh yes, I am a life coach, but I'm also kind of an anti-life coach in a way, because a lot of the work that I do is mindful of the fact that the industry itself, like coaching and personal development, has continues to do a lot of damage in ways that people don't necessarily recognize. So in my coaching practice, I try to do a lot of work to undo some of that damage. But yes, I started my business when we were still living in Brisbane in 2019. And my last office space was in Tenerife.
Beautiful.
And it was so hard to let go of that office, I tell you.
Gorgeous.
But it was time. We were looking ahead to what we wanted for the next decade of our life as a family. We're like, do we buy a house? Do we do this thing, that thing? And then when we really sat and thought about our values and the lifestyle that we wanted to live, Brisbane unfortunately wasn't able to offer that to us at this time. Whereas living in Vietnam does offer that. I had lived here before, back in 2007.
Okay, so it wasn't a totally random pick a country on a map and off we go situation.
No, not quite.
Not quite.
We briefly considered some other places, but I just love Vietnam so much, and I was like, let's just go there.
Let's go there.
Well, I've never been to Vietnam, so tell me, what is it that you love about it?
The lifestyle is just so manageable in a lot of ways. I've got a great social life here. The local people are wonderful as well. Oh gosh, it's so hard to answer the question because I don't know where to start.
Yeah, okay.
The culture is incredible. It's got such a rich history of survival and resilience that I really admire. And you can really feel that in your day-to-day life here. Of course, there are still social problems that the government needs to address. Of course, I'm not allowed to say anything about the Vietnamese government.
Yeah. Let's stay clear
about that. Yep.
But
for another day.
As much as there are still some issues here that need to be addressed, the day-to-day life and the people and the food and the culture are just...
Oh, the food. So good.
Best food.
So good.
I love Vietnamese food. I've never had it from Vietnam, so I can imagine I'd love it even more in Vietnam.
You would.
Yeah, and importantly, my apartment building has a gym, so
you can enjoy the food and feel.
So I can enjoy the food and still just waddle downstairs to the gym as needed.
That's perfect.
No, I love that. I love that style of living. Now, just to take a step back, Les, you were sort of saying that there was problems in the industry, and you're sort of trying to get above those and around those, I suppose, by doing things your way. What does that mean? What are the problems that you see in the industry, and how are you getting around those issues?
At the core of it, there's a tremendous degree of toxic positivity, right?
Toxic positivity. That's not a term I've heard before.
Toxic positivity.
Do you think you and I are toxically positive to each other? Are we toxic positive?
I don't think you're toxic.
I'm feeling a Britney Spears song in my head.
Aren't we all, though, at any given time? There's at least one Britney song we can relate to.
Always a Britney song nearby.
Yeah.
So, okay, toxic positivity. So we're too peppy, we're too positive at the detriment. What does that all mean?
Well, toxic positivity at its core is this idea that everything can be solved with positive thinking. This is simply not true. Okay? Thinking positively is important. Optimism is important, but it's the kind of thing that when you recognize it, you're not going to ever be able to unsee it, right? Someone gets hit with, a cancer diagnosis or something, and someone's response might be like, well, just keep a positive attitude and everything will be fine. Or someone gets...
Yep.
Exactly. Or someone is struggling with a really difficult decision, and the response might be like, someone has had some other tragic outcome, and the response from someone who's practicing toxic positivity might be something like, oh, but everything happens for a reason. Everything will be okay. Just smile through it. And it's like...
Trust the process or trust the outcome.
Exactly. Just trust the universe.
Trust the universe,
It's not wrong to think these things or to feel these things, but when it becomes a dismissal of what people are actually experiencing, that's when it becomes a problem. When people then use it as a weapon to say, oh, the reason you didn't succeed is because you didn't have a positive mindset. It's like, or... there could be a lot of other very real things happening on an individual level and on a systemic level that could make one person's challenges harder to surmount than someone else's. So this idea that you can just approach everything with a positive mindset and everything will be okay is false. And it's damaging, because the people it harms most are people from marginalized communities. So
why is that?
Tell us more about that.
For example, there's this idea that you can, as long as you practice the right habits, as long as you work hard enough, then you will succeed. It's not necessarily untrue for everybody, but when you've got someone from a background where there's generational trauma, where there's, a history of like racial subjugation, where there's a history of disability or being unhoused, telling that person that they just need to work harder
Yeah.
doesn't always land very well.
No.
Yeah.
Because it's
that's not always the solution anyway, is it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, probably one of the more broadly relatable examples of this is look at women working in male-dominated industries, many of whom have stories where they're extremely qualified, extremely competent, but keep getting passed over for promotions because of this reason or that reason or that reason. A lot of people might say like, well, you just weren't qualified. But when you look at what really tends to happen in these settings, there are arguments that suggest, well, could also just be that there are some barriers for this person because they are a woman that don't exist for the men in the organization.
And that's just a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as a life coach, when you get in the room with someone, be it a physical room or a virtual room, with someone who's going through these kind of issues, what is your message to them? I mean, obviously, as you've been talking about, just thinking positive is not going to solve them. It's actually looking at the situation and working out actually what is going on and what are the reasons for it. But how do you help someone that's going through a difficult time, whatever it is, regain that confidence to push forward, not just say, well, think positive, and you'll be right, but how to push forward and to regain the confidence that they've clearly lost by coming to find you in the first place.
Well, one of the first things I do with every new person who comes into my space is to do that deep dive into what their core values are and what their key character strengths are. Because sometimes the things that impact our confidence are one thing that can really put a big dent in our confidence is living in a way that feels completely out of alignment with what we want to be doing or who we believe we really are inside. Right?
Interesting.
Yeah. So sometimes it's about understanding what's happening at the surface level and then going that layer deeper. Some people will lack confidence because they feel like they're not successful enough in some area of their life, their job, for example, right? And this is just like an illustration, of course. Like, let's say it's your job that's making you feel a lack of confidence. Sometimes we can explore that conversation and find that, well, is it the job that's the problem or the fact that you went into this career path because someone else thought it might be a good idea? And you kind of just took on these values and went in that direction. And now you feel like you can't be yourself in this context. So who are you? Let's
I imagine
dive into your core values.
A lot of people would feel that, I imagine.
Yeah. A lot of people kind of inherit values from their families, from their cultures, from some other outside force, from the things that they see on social media. They can come from anywhere. But a lot of people haven't deeply enough examined what they actually value. We're told to value certain things in certain ways. And that's just letting someone else dictate your life.
So that's a deep dive into someone's, how are you living your life, and how
shit is deep.
Yeah, it is deep. So that's where you start, like
yes.
Yeah. So for people who don't actually know, I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but like you said, you just live your lives and you're not sure where your influences have come from, be it social media or people in your lives or whatever it is. How do you get people to recognize, like for those people that are listening to us at home or in the car or wherever they're listening or watching their podcasts, what's the first step to doing that, to recognizing?
To find out your values, to know them, yeah.
The first step, it tends to be different for everyone, right? Sometimes I'll ask people if they've thought much about it, and then if they can give me a list of things that show that they've done some of the work, that like if they can just rattle off a list of things that they think are really important, then I know that the exploration is going to look different than someone who sits there and goes, I value my family and I value health. And because I'm not saying there's anything wrong with valuing family and health, but it's that tendency that some people have to kind of want to fill that silence because they think to not do so is like wasting your time. So it's like, oh, I need to say things. I need to pick the safe, polite things. And there are some different exercises that I do. One, when I'm working with someone in person, that involves like taking a bunch of strips of paper with all these different values on it, like just a gigantic pile of papers, and doing a lot of first thought stuff, categorizing things, and then narrowing it down. There are a lot of ways to explore values. And the method that I choose really depends on the person,
individual,
the kind of language that they use, and the work that they've already done to explore these values.
So what would trigger, or what triggers people to come and call you, reach out to you? What are the typical type of, I guess, problems that people have when they're saying, I need a life coach to chat to, and I want you, Les. I want to talk to you about this.
It's often when people are feeling lost. The word lost comes up a lot. When people are feeling like they lack purpose in their lives. When people feel like their lives are okay, but they know it could be better. Yeah. Because I also work a lot with people who are in open or polyamorous relationships. And that tends to be one of the things that might bring someone to me rather than to a different coach as well, if they have those kinds of lifestyle inclinations also.
Yeah, sure. So you can sort of tap into different markets based on, the way that you want to approach coaching, and being an open, safe space for people of, all groups.
Yes.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing.
So we've talked a lot about things like going back to the workforce, as in, whether you're a male or female, but it largely at the moment falls to the female to take the time off while the kids are growing up and that sort of thing. And a lot of the problems that people have is that they're scared, to go back into either an old career or a new career or whatever it may be, but they've spent the last 5-10 years at home with their kids, looking after their kids, and now they want to or have to go back into the workforce. All of that is about rebuilding confidence that you just don't have anymore.
And there's a bit of imposter syndrome. Well, there's a lot of imposter syndrome that lives out there with women, going into careers.
So what sort of advice, and I mean, again, it's not just women, right? It's men and women. But what sort of advice would you give someone that is going through that? How do they get back on the horse? I love to throw those in. So.
We were not doing well on the horse today.
We were not. But anyway, moving right along.
I would ask a lot of questions. This is the other thing. There is sort of a misconception that coaching is about like getting advice, right? But what it really is, and especially the way that I work, is asking the questions. So asking what it is that they feel they are lacking, asking what it is they want to get out of going back into the workforce. If it's like financial, if it's something to do with their own sense of purpose, understanding their reasons why would be the first place to start. And this is an important step to not skip, because a lot of times, and I've worked with people across the gender spectrum on this issue, there's a tendency to like dive into the application process right away and just see what happens. Fine, that's okay if you can live with the possibility that you might then be on a path where you're going to have to course correct if things aren't really going the way you think they ought to. But if we pull back and say, all right, if what's more important to you is financial, then let's look at your work history. Let's look at your current interests, the skills that you have built up over these years of being out of the workforce. And how can we frame that into a possible career path? Right?
I love that. Yeah, I think that's exceptional. That's really exceptional. Yeah.
It's all about building that strong foundation to then take those next action steps. Because if you're building a scaffold on a shaky foundation, the smallest little tremor, if you will, is bound to make that whole thing collapse. And we don't want that. We don't want that.
Can you change the way a person thinks about things? Like in that way, that scenario that you've just described is a very specific one, but can you change the way that a person thinks on a regular basis so that their mindset almost shifts and it automatically kicks into, I'm going to think about this in a different way?
You were going to say positive then,
I
weren't
was.
you? I felt you. And I was like, shoot, don't say positive.
Well,
I know this so well. I can read you so well.
I've lost the audio. Okay. Wait, no, I hear you. Okay, you're back.
You got us. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not against positive thinking. I mean, I'm a huge goofball, right? But
I just like to keep things light sometimes, a teaser.
That's the way. That's what friendship is built on.
Yeah.
I like to think of it more as helping people get practice in choosing their thought patterns in a given situation, right?
Okay, wait. So getting practice in choosing the thought patterns. Yeah. Okay. So an active choice when I'm not going to think this way, I'm going to think this way and repeat that pattern over and over. Is that what you're saying?
Kind of, yes. For me, it's also less about thought and more about taking action. But of course, to take action, you have to be having the thought that will help you get there, right? So it would be like, oh my gosh, this is where my ADHD brain is like, what's going on?
Love it.
Yeah.
We love ADHD brains.
Yeah. So I'm ADHD and autistic. So I'm very like detail focused when I'm working with my clients and approaching them as individual people with individual contexts, right? So if someone has a tendency to express a thought that is ineffective or self-defeating, we can look at that thought, that pattern, and say, okay, well, what is this thought doing for you? Is it protecting you in some way? Is it keeping you comfortable in some way? Because sometimes even those thoughts that might seem very negative or self-defeating, they can be serving some sort of purpose, right? They can be keeping us safe. So we would take the language that they're using and see if there's something that we can reframe or look at in a different way. And then try to, depending on the context, see how we can apply that to this context in a way that will help them take the next step. One of the modalities that I use is called motivational interviewing. And it's essentially a method of conversation that's designed to take people out of a state of ambivalence or inaction, understand what motivates them, and then help them take action.
How? How do you motivate them to take action?
Well, it's not so much motivating them, it's understanding what is motivating them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of time, when you can get to the core of what will help them take action. It's about clearing away the things that are getting in their way. Clearing away that imposter syndrome, clearing away those false values, clearing away those external voices that are telling them that they should be doing something differently. It's about clearing that pathway, saying, okay, now that we've cleared this pathway a bit, what can you actually see? When you visualize like 5 years down that road, what do you see? If your life were exactly how you want it to be 5 years from now, what would be different? And what would be the first sign that you are on that right track?
Wow, I love that.
Okay, we're going to sit and do that later.
Yeah.
And I just think it's all really, really interesting, like to open up the mind and think in different ways and explore those parts of your brain. And it's deeply uncomfortable, I think. And I think there's a lot of probably, emotion and discomfort and anger and all sorts of feelings that would bubble out to the top. I'm going to say this because when you said toxic positivity earlier and you gave examples, it like hit a genuine nerve inside me. I think the reason it hits a nerve, and I want to ask you a question out of this, but I think the reason it hits a nerve for me is because I'm not a fake person at all. What you see with me is what you get. And I think everyone who would have that opinion of me who knows me. So I really appreciate proper conversation, deep conversation, genuine conversation. So and I know a lot of people do, but when that, exactly what you said about toxic positivity, when those comments come in, when as a person, and I've been in this position before, just thinking selfishly, that I have had such a hard time and I actually genuinely want somebody to sit, listen, and just either don't say anything or acknowledge how hard the time is that I'm going through. And when you get that bullshit positivity, it actually, I hate it. And I shut down as a person. I just completely shut down and go, there's no point. I'm never going to be open about that topic again. I'll never be vulnerable in this space to you because that's it. And that's against who I am. So it really hit a nerve, that toxic positivity stuff, because I've felt that many times. My question is then, how do we serve that better? How do we do that to others better? And I know I'm guilty of it. I'm not saying I haven't done that, but how do we change that? How do we do better? How do we not have toxic positivity?
We listen more. Yeah,
I love that.
That's the key, really. Listening and critical thinking skills, active listening. When we have someone present to us with something that's really challenging them, we hold space for them, even though it's not an expression I love to use because it means so many different things now, right? But we keep that space open for them to express what they need. We shut down our own judgment of the situation, and we make it about them, essentially.
Yeah.
And we also have to take a much more critical look at the media that we consume around this. I have been running a personal development book club for nearly 5 years. And this is something that comes up in our discussions a lot. So we meet every month. I mostly run it online now, but in person here in Vietnam too. And we just examine personal development media. And when you look at the kind of evolution of personal development books, you can really see like the changing tide where toxic positivity is concerned. Back in the early days, in like the 1930s and even before that, a lot of the books that were coming out or the materials that were coming out were about having that solid mindset, thinking positively. It was all kind of governed by this new thought movement where everything was about your mindset. And any failure was because your mindset had failed. Now, if we look at the creators who are doing it right, there's much more of a focus on community and being with people, as opposed to this hyper individualism that says, no, you just need to push through everything. It's about how we connect together and help each other when we recognize that not everything is sunshine and roses. you know?
Let's all be in the trenches together sometimes and wade through.
Yeah.
And help each other out.
Help each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's, and I think potentially, I mean, this is probably a lot bigger a topic, but I think potentially what's gone on in the last 10, 15 years of social media and everything moving digitally online, and then it's sort of taking a back step where people are going, well, actually, we want interpersonal relationships again, and we actually want to see people, and we want to talk to them in real life and all those things. I think it's going to do a full circle again.
Yeah.
My prediction.
Yeah. Yeah.
So interesting.
What's when you go into a session with someone?
Yes.
What does success look like to you?
To me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for that person.
Okay. Well, see, this is an interesting question because, like, when I think about what success looks like to me, it's going to be very different from what success might look like or feel like to that client, right?
Yeah.
But to me, a signal that I've done my job well is when that person, after that first session, will say something like, wow, I've really gotten a lot out of this, or I'm thinking about this situation in a very different way.
Yeah.
My favorite thing, and I'm always careful about how I say this, is when they say, you know, I've gotten so much more out of this session than I've gotten out of years of therapy. The reason I'm so careful when I say things like that is because coaching is not a replacement for therapy, but I always make it very clear that what I do is not a mental health treatment. It's not therapy, but it's an illustration of the fact that sometimes when we are seeking a particular type of help from one helping professional, it could be a complete mismatch. Yeah. Sometimes you might find yourself working with a therapist for years, getting nowhere, getting stuck in a holding pattern, and then it comes to light that what you needed was a coach whole time.
Yeah.
It can go the other way too. If someone is suffering from severe mental health situations or recovering from a severe trauma and they jump into a life coach's office, and then that coach is just like blowing smoke up their bums and saying, oh, love and light, live, laugh, love, positive vibes only. Yeah. That can cause tremendous problems. And this is something that there are entire movements pushing back against. Coaches should not try to be therapists, and people working as therapists, as coaches, as social workers, as counselors, as consultants, all of whom I have family members in each of these fields, need to understand like what the difference is between these different services. Yeah. When a particular relationship has ended and when they need to be referred to a different kind of service. Yeah. That's just ethics.
Yeah. Yeah. No, really absolutely. Well, we've got so much to talk to you about, Les. We're going to have to get you to come back and talk to us again.
I would love to.
Yes, if you visit Brisbane too, hop in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, these kinds of conversations, like, you can only ever just barely scratch the surface. Yeah, and that's one reason I love having these conversations.
Yeah, well, it just makes you realize how deep you can go. Yeah, which is why we need to get you back.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. It's been so interesting and informative, and it's certainly got my brain ticking about different things and values.
Yeah.
Well, you should join my book club then.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing. Send us the link. And if you want us to link to your book club or your anything social, we'll link that in our show notes as well.
Yep.
Fantastic.
And across socials. So anyone out there who would like to have a virtual meeting, I'm assuming you do all over the world.
Yep.
With Les, we can link you to that.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep. Amazing. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful day in Vietnam.
Thank you.
Thanks.